All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the year for Big Bang Wrestling. I'm your host, Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
All right, and this week I don't really think it was a whole lot that really happened major. I didn't get to watch a lot of it honestly because work schedules and everything. I did catch NXT though,
Yeah,
most of NXT.
right.
No, got to catch Raw and AEW. That's about it for right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really only got to catch NXT and Ring of Honor, a little bit of Raw and SmackDown, but that's about it.
This week has been just busy for us.
Yeah. This might not be the most cohesive one, but hey, we're here.
Right. You sent me a thing the other night. Some the name I haven't really heard a lot of lately, and that was X-Pac.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah. Yep.
to come back to wrestling again.
Um. Yeah. Apparently he's been cleared of hepatitis C, which I'd never even knew he had.
I didn't either.
I didn't know. I knew he had retired a couple years ago, but I didn't know that was the reason.
Yeah, they said a lot of the state athletic commissions wouldn't clear him to compete. So
Right. Well, and it's because of the possibility of getting cut, or bleeding, that thing, that's
yeah. So I mean, they say he's cleared now. So it's only like now the question is he going to return?
I don't know if you've seen him lately, but he's gotten into ridiculous shape in the last couple of years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he's got like a fucking 6-pack abs now and all, and he's never had abs ever that I remember.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, he's gotten into really good shape. So I mean, if he's healthy enough, I think he should, because he was always a great wrestler.
How do you think a return of another part-time wrestler would be received by the fans?
Well, and that's actually another thing that I wanted to discuss also, because something that we looked at, like the upcoming Legends Night. It's good and it's bad at the same time. Like, it's good that these guys are still able to wrestle and they've got a place they can go. But on the same side, it outshines a lot of current people, and it kind of really makes it stand out that there's not really any big stars at the moment.
I mean, it's almost like it's WWE's own fault that they don't have any big stars.
Right. You're right, because they haven't really built anyone.
They haven't tried.
Yeah. I mean, Roman is about the only person that they have built, and that didn't go their way for a long time.
Yeah, they pick a guy and they just try to shove him down your throats. I think they've been doing it good with Drew McIntyre though, and he's definitely been one of their breakout stars. And he's definitely becoming
they've definitely gotten.
He's definitely becoming like the face of the company.
They've definitely gotten it right with Drew. That's for sure. They haven't pulled the rug out from under him. So
no, not yet. He's doing a great job from what I see as the top guy on Raw. So, like, when X-Pac does come back, who do you see him feuding with?
Where would he go is my question. What company would he work for? Because he's worked for every major company there ever was and that is around now outside of AEW.
I see him just going back to WWE.
Right.
It's either going to be WWE or it's going to be Impact.
And that was kind of my thinking. It would be somebody like Impact or maybe even NXT or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't foresee him going to AEW.
No, I don't really see that, especially being that, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, none of those guys are over there.
Yeah, most of them, they're all still associated with WWE.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, if any of those guys were in AEW, you can bet your ass he would show up there.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
That whole clique. But, I agree with you. He'll probably be in the WWE. there's a few guys that I can think of off the top of my head that he would be great with, and the first one is AJ Styles.
I could see that. I could definitely.
X-Pac and AJ Styles. That would be just that wouldn't that would just be just for the people that just want to see a great match, you know.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've seen a few of X-Pac's matches, but I haven't seen a ton of them.
One that really stands out to me is way back in his career when he was going by the name 1-2-3 Kid.
Yeah, I remember seeing one of his matches. I remember seeing a match with him as 1-2-3 Kid.
Yep. He actually had a world title match with Bret Hart, and it was on the regular TV show. It wasn't a pay-per-view match.
Right.
But holy shit, they had a hell of a match.
I'm gonna have to check that out. That's the only time they've competed for the world title against each other?
I think that was his only world title match.
I'm gonna check it out then. I'm definitely gonna check that out tonight.
And that was like 92, 93, something like that. Yeah, that was early, you know. It was his first like national exposure, like his first big match that everybody would see. Obviously, Bret Hart was the established guy at that point.
Right.
And it was a hell of a match. It's definitely one that everybody needs to check out. And if he can still pull off anything like that, it'll be a pretty welcome addition, you know.
Yeah. So I know that article that we read, we'll actually share it on the page too. He said he had maybe half a dozen, good, hard matches left in him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the shape he's gotten in the last couple of years, I believe it.
We'll see how that develops then with the new year.
Yeah.
I can definitely expect to see him come around in some shape or form in one of these promotions.
Definitely. I'm excited to see that. That's one of the few old guys I'm excited to see.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did have a few things happen with the AEW tribute show for Brody Lee. Yep. Yeah, we saw Dark Order. They pretty much had a clean sweep over any competition that they had.
Oh yeah, they pretty much they took it home on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I think definitely, without a doubt, that was probably one of the better tributes they could have given Brody Lee.
It was, and honestly, in my opinion, that was one of the better, just all around shows that AEW's done. Unfortunately, it sucks under the circumstances that it happened, but it was a very good show.
It was, they hit the nail on the head with that one. Like it was.
Yeah, they did. They got it right. They definitely got it all right on that one.
We saw, AEW, they retired the current design for the TNT title. Mm-hmm. And actually, Tony Khan, he came out and personally presented the TNT title to Brody Lee Jr.
Yeah.
And said he would be the TNT champion for life.
And, they had Brody's wife out there, with their son and everything. And that was a cool little moment. That was a nice thing to see. The owner of the guy that runs the company, it shows that he does care, and we knew that, as we found out and we talked about last week, he'd been taking care of the family the whole time Brody was sick. So that was really nice to see everything they've done for the family. And I guess what they say, they're going to make a new belt for Darby.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say. So
I said it'd be interesting to see a new design, especially so close together.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm eager to see what this new design is going to be.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say that would be the third redesign of this belt in a year.
It wouldn't be the third redesign. Like they introduced the belt before it was completed. So you
remember it was just that plain silver plate with black lettering, and that's all it was. There was no other color on it.
Yeah, they said they introduced it before it was completed. But, another thing we saw on AEW, and this actually opens up a lot of questions for me, and that's Eric Rowan, now known as Eric Redbeard. He appeared on AEW.
Mm-hmm.
In a tribute for Brody, and during the main event, during that tag, it was a 6-man tag match with Hangman, Silver, and Reynolds. against Santana, Ortiz, and MJF.
Yeah.
You know, we
Yeah,
saw
he came out and he attacked Wardlow. I wasn't expecting that. That was a
no.
big surprise later.
Yeah, we saw Wardlow get involved in the match. Next thing you know, Eric Redbeard comes running out from the back. And I can't say this about too many people, but he made Wardlow look small.
You don't quite realize how big some of these guys are until you see them somewhere else, you know.
Yeah. Because, like, when he was in WWE, he didn't look that, he looked big, but he didn't look that big.
But you also got to look at how many big guys they actually have, too.
Yeah. They got their handful for sure.
Yeah, well, because he tossed Wardlow like it was nothing. He just
Dude.
basketballed his head and slammed him, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he made Wardlow look like nothing.
Yeah, and then Wardlow just hauled ass off the stage out of the arena, you know.
So he got to save his energy for that match with Hager this week.
yeah, Hager ain't quite as big, so I guess he figured, hey, let's not do this, you know.
Right. So do you think that was a one-off appearance for Redbeard, or do you think we're going to start seeing more of him around in AEW?
I mean, I feel like it was kind of a one-off because before this, there was no build-up of him, any mention of him, any kind of hinting that he might be coming. It's hard to tell, but I mean, if he gets a run out of it, I mean, he'd most likely end up in a Dark Order, just because that's where Brody was, I guess.
That's what I would assume.
Like maybe if they did something where, like, you know, he comes in as the new leader, or I don't know, or just he's their monster, you know.
That's the only way I could see it going, really. Because they already got enough big man monsters, you know.
Yeah.
Or big man, you know, they try to treat as monsters, you know, especially Lance Archer.
Yeah, and Rowan, you know, him and Archer, they're about the same size, you know. So I mean, that could be an interesting matchup, and there's not too many matchups like that, you know, in AEW to start with. So I mean, I feel like he would be a welcome addition because he's different than everything else that's already there.
Yeah. And, you know, one thing I noticed about him in WWE is that he's not horrible in the ring, especially during that run he had with Daniel Bryan. He's not horrible in the ring by any means.
No.
He has.
No,
he's got the ability to put on good matches. It's just whether they allow him to do it.
Right. Yeah, that and a lot of times that's the biggest problem. You know.
So I mean, is there any other possible direction you could see this thing of Eric Rowan going? Whether he would be like a full time?
I mean, that's really the only thing. It's really the only thing that makes sense, isn't it?
That's all I could think of. He'd come in, fill in the Dark Order. One thing I do want to point out about AEW this week, besides that, is Chris Jericho's commentary. Now, I want to talk about that because he said a lot of stuff that kind of like broke those barriers. You know, he started calling, Brody Lee and Redbeard by their WWE names, called them Harper and Rowan, mentioned the Bludgeon Brothers. Then AEW.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
They had pictures of them from their WWE days. As you had a picture of Bludgeon Brothers with the SmackDown tag titles.
Yeah, just right there, right in the middle of God and everybody on somebody else's wrestling show.
They had pictures of Harper and Seth Rollins. Yeah, so like
there was a couple pictures of Wyatt in there too.
Yeah. Braun was in one. Did WWE give them permission to run that, or because that doesn't seem like a very Vince McMahon thing to do?
No, it doesn't. And my understanding is that Jericho just said that on his own, is from what I've seen.
That's what I figured.
Because if you remember when Rowan or Redbeard, actually, when Redbeard showed up, you could hear, I think it was either Tony or Excalibur said, it's Redbeard. And as soon as they said that, Jericho goes, "Oh my God, it's Eric Rowan."
Yeah, I caught that.
Like as soon as dude said, "Oh my God, Redbeard," he's like, "Oh my God, it's Eric Rowan." Just like he just lost his shit.
That's how everybody knows him as.
And then he right after that he said he was one half of the Bludgeon Brothers with Harper Brody Lee.
Yeah, uh-huh. So he name dropped his
He just started
WWE.
spouting off everything.
Yeah, I know it would never happen in a million years if WWE and AEW could find like some type of way to work together. It would be
Mhm.
hellacious.
It would be goddamn ridiculous.
It would be an awesome thing to see, but I know in a million years it'd never happen.
Like, it would be a great thing to see, but just imagine the amount of shit that would have to go down for that to happen.
Right? WWE would have to basically own
Like,
AEW.
yeah, it would be like just some crazy, ridiculous. Like you said, it'd pretty much be a buyout. Like, that's about the only way that would
That's
happen.
that's the only way WWE's going to work with them.
Yeah. And that's crazy to think because not that long ago, a lot of major companies shared talent and had interpromotional feuds and stuff. It wasn't that long ago that they were doing that.
Yeah, just not McMahon. He wouldn't do it.
Well, McMahon used to do it himself in the early 80s, late 70s. They had a huge working relationship with New Japan back then.
Yeah, because you said they would send Hogan and Andre the Giant. He'd been over there a couple times, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, with Hogan, Andre, Bob Backlund, Jimmy Snuka, all the big name guys from that time. Yeah, Stan Hansen was working for both companies at that time. So even though it's funny to me that Vince acts the way he does because he's done all this stuff before.
Now he acts like he has no interest in doing it since he grew this huge wrestling empire. And they're expanding into other countries now and running shit like whole independent shows in other countries.
Yeah, it's treated as pretty much its own company.
Maybe that might change once Triple H comes into power there.
I can see there be when Triple H takes over, if hopefully he does. I can see that happening under him. An interpromotion, a co-promoted show, like a super show, or a feud or something like that.
Without a doubt.
We need Okada versus Randy Orton. I'm just saying.
I remember a couple years ago, everybody was talking about Okada versus Cena.
No, it's got to be Okada and Orton.
I know that'd be
Well, think about it. They're similar sized, similar style. They both throw like the most beautiful drop kicks in the business.
Mm-hmm, they do.
It could work. I would see Tanahashi against Cena. Like, that's the one I see with Cena.
I don't know. Like I said, until Vince McMahon steps down, though, which may be sooner than later, because there have been reports on his decline in health.
Well, he's looked pretty rough the last few times he's been on TV.
But, once he steps down and Triple H or even Stephanie step up, we might see that a little bit more with the partnerships.
Right. I see it more with Triple H than Stephanie. I see Stephanie being basically another Vince.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right on that. Yeah, you're right. Maybe Shane if he decides he wants to step up.
Right. But we'll see.
Let's talk about one of Vince's favorite things he likes to do every so often when ratings get super low, and that's these Legends nights. Raw reunions and these little special shows that really not many people care about because they do the same generic crap.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much what's going to happen is it happens at all of them. There's going to be some up and coming star that's going to get fed to a returning veteran legend.
Yeah.
And they're going to get
some of the names that they were saying were legends on there.
Yeah.
Like on the commercials, made me laugh a little bit.
Yeah. Some of those names are a real stretch.
Like, yeah, it's going to be good to see some of these names come back, but I would never call them legends.
Yeah.
Alicia Fox.
Yeah.
Carlito.
Carlito wishes he was a legend. His dad's a legend. But,
Carlito's not bad though.
He's not bad, but he's not a legend.
No.
He's not his dad.
Yeah, Boogeyman?
Yeah. I mean, Boogeyman is somebody that'll be remembered, but he's not a legend, you know.
He'd be remembered for his gimmick, not for his matches.
Right. It'll be his gimmick alone.
Yeah. So, like, this is like a desperate attempt by Vince and the WWE creative to try to boost ratings for one night instead of, like, turning major storylines and investing more time in storylines and pushing people. I said they might see it go up one night, but then it's going to go right back where it was.
Oh, yeah. And it exposes a big problem that they've had for a while, like we mentioned earlier, is the fact that they don't have a homegrown built star.
Is there anybody even close on the roster that might be a homegrown star besides Bray Wyatt? He's in his prime right now.
You got him and Roman. I mean,
that's it.
But, you know, the last one was Cena.
Cena and Batista.
I mean, and you can put Randy Orton in that category too, but Randy Orton, you know, he's
getting old.
Yeah, he's coming down from that main event scene, you know.
Yeah.
But that it just makes the problems that are there glaringly obvious to do these things.
Yeah, and that's ultimately going to be WWE's downfall is they're not investing time in their own talent.
Yeah, they're not building up the people that are already there. They're not making the fans care about the ones that are already there.
That's it. When Paul Heyman was the head of creative for Raw, that's when you started seeing these guys getting pushed.
Yeah.
Like, I never would have thought in a million years they would have pushed Apollo Crews again.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he was one that should have been pushed. He's good. And they're stupid not to use him.
Yeah.
But you notice once they put the belt on him under Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
And once he dropped it, it was when they fired him. When they fired Paul Heyman, Apollo Crews dropped the belt, and what has he done since?
Not much, but he's starting to make a little bit of a comeback, but in the meantime, he really hadn't done anything.
Aleister Black. You know, under Paul Heyman, he was being a name considered to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, they've really dropped the ball on Black. He's a guy that just his look, his style, the way he, his charisma, everything else is different than everybody else in a good way. And he's a guy that could have been a big star, but they haven't done anything with him.
And a match between him and Brock would have been a 5-star match.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been a good match.
Yeah, but like I said, Vince wants people who are going to agree with him and use all these old washed up part-timers.
Yeah, that's why fucking Bruce Pritchard's there.
Yeah, pretty much.
That fucking ass kisser.
I said a lot of people are like getting frustrated with Pritchard because there's no TV time for them.
Yeah, and a lot of this goofy stuff you see happening, that's Pritchard. That's his crap. That's the stuff he does because he knows Vince will like it. So he just does it.
It was like, for me, I watch WWE out of habit now.
Right.
But like, they'll have good stuff on there, but for the most part, it's stuff I don't care to see anymore.
Yeah. It's not stuff that if somebody who's never watched wrestling, doesn't know what it is, never seen WWE, if they turned it on,
they
probably wouldn't come back and watch it.
No.
Yeah, they probably would not come back and watch it.
Not at all. There's nothing to see, like, unless you know who the people are.
Yeah. Right. Unless you're already there.
Guys like Keith Lee, Sheamus, McIntyre, they're good to watch, and they're pushing them right now, but how long is that going to last?
I mean, look what McIntyre had to do to finally get where he's at.
He had to leave.
he had to leave and run through every promotion he could get his hands on.
Yeah, and then WWE's like, oh, we want him back.
Yeah. And then, he went through NXT. He did that whole thing, won the belt. And then now he's back. Now he's at the top where he should be, but it took a few years.
Yeah. Next week, we're actually going to see on Raw Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title.
Mm-hmm. I'm very interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah, because we already know Drew ain't going to drop it. We already know that.
Not right now.
But I'm interested to see the performance that's going to be put on by these two, and in what capacity is Sheamus going to get involved.
Right. Yeah, because Sheamus, has kind of been in the shadows, just kind of lurking around,
Now, he's going to get involved.
Oh, yeah, something's going to happen. He's going to do something.
And that's going to set up, I believe this is going to be the week that sets up for Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus.
Right, for Royal Rumble.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right, for the main event or the title match,
Yep. I think this will be the week they pull the trigger on that.
Which, me personally, I feel like Drew and Sheamus could pull off a pretty good match.
Yeah.
Would, they could have a pretty damn good brawl,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it if that's the way they go. Oh, yeah. I think this would be the time to pull the trigger on that match.
Mm-hmm.
They set up for it, go on and do it,
Yeah. And, see who can land a brogue kick or a claymore first.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's going to take 2 or 3 of them to put them away, though.
And, and they're two big guys. They know what they're doing. They're tough guys. They like to fight. So it would be a good match.
Sheamus, he was one of the ones I wasn't crazy about at all the first couple of years he was there.
Yeah.
But he has definitely improved.
And it took me a while to get into him, too. And if you remember when he first debuted, he just had that real generic, hey, I'm Irish, just that real bland. And he was a babyface, which doesn't work for him.
Yeah. Now, he was a heel first, I thought.
When they first brought him in, I'd have to look it back up. But when they very first brought him in, I'm pretty sure he was like the good guy. I
remember when he first debuted on the Raw roster, he was a heel.
Yeah, but he was bland as shit, though. Yeah, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
there was no depth or anything to the character.
Yeah, you're right on that. Another world title match I'm interested to see coming up is the AEW title. Kenny Omega, he's defending against Rey Fenix.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that match? How that's going to be?
Well, you already know my thoughts on.
Aside from your thoughts on just Omega, that match alone. How do you think that's?
They've had matches with each other before, and I've seen a couple of their matches before, and it's just from what I can see, it'll be your normal Omega or Phoenix match. A lot of the high flying stuff, a lot of fast paced. It'll be a lot of back and forth stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like their matches in the past. I've heard nothing but good things about them.
Well, and if that's what you like, if that's the style you like, then yeah.
I'm eager to check it out because this will be the first time that they really put Rey Fenix in that main event scene.
Yeah, for AEW,
yeah,
it will. Like in AAA, Rey Fenix has had a lot of main event matches, and actually one of their past Omega and Phoenix matches was a AAA match. So. But yes, in AEW and over here, that'll be one of his first big main event matches.
Yeah. I can't remember if that's on night 1 or night 2 now. I want to say it's night 2.
Right.
I want to say it's night 2, but I'm still eager to see how that's going to be.
Yeah, it'll be is it Kenny's second title defense or is it the first?
Second, because he
Second.
Oh, it might be the
I
first
thought
time. I
so.
can't remember if that match between him and Janela was for the title.
I think that was. I don't
I
know.
think it was.
You think it was non-title?
I think it was a title match.
I can say this: it'll be better than the match with Janela.
Anything would be better than a match with Janela.
Yeah, that fucking guy.
I'm just saying you had some news of Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, just the couple of since it's 2 nights now, the couple of main events. Since Kota Ibushi won the G1 Climax, he's going to face Naito in the main event of night one. And then, but because Jay White beat Ibushi for the right to challenge right after that, now Jay White has a shot at the winner of that match on night two.
I saw a post. I was looking at some Facebook groups and everything. Everybody's asking by the time it's all said and done and Wrestle Kingdom's over, who's going to walk out as the champion?
At Wrestle Kingdom last year, that's when Naito won the double gold, and that was the first time that the double gold champion was crowned, was last Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
And he's traded it with Evil a couple of, they've both won it back and forth from each other this year already. The biggest thing for me is the build-up they've had with Kota Ibushi. This is the second year in a row he's won the G1 Climax. It's the second year in a row he's been in the main event of night one, for the title. And he lost last year, and then he loses this match with Jay White, and then now they've got him, facing Naito and possibly Jay White the next night. He needs to win.
I don't really get to keep up with it too much, New Japan.
Yeah.
I just kind of see things here and there, then the things you send me.
But it's just that's a lot of build-up for somebody to have lose at the biggest show 2 years in a row after winning the biggest tournament 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff for them to do for one guy, for them not to have him win the title,
I know Jay White, he's been very vocal. Even on social media, he's been extremely vocal about these matches.
Yeah. And that's his style, He tries to get in people's heads. That's how he plays his game,
Right. Any other matches that are standing out from that night?
The one that I'm really interested in, and this is one I've mentioned to you a couple of times, is that open weight title match with Jeff Cobb and Shingo Takagi.
Yeah, I remember you did. Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
I know you've seen Cobb a few times, and he's pretty beastly.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you've seen Shingo. If not, I can send you a couple of things. But that guy is just a straight up brawler, ass kicker, and has been for a long time. And they have the styles that match up well to just be just a wild match.
Who do you think's gonna walk out champion after that match?
Well, the way they've been building it up with the Empire and all that, it looks to me like it'll be Cobb.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, because Great Khan has a match with Tanahashi, a special singles match, and then Ospreay has the match with Okada. To me, it's looking like Empire is gonna sweep their matches.
You think the same thing of Ospreay and Okada?
Yeah, I think Ospreay. That's what I was saying. I think all the Empire guys, I think they're all going to win.
That comes on 4th and the 5th?
It's the 4th and the 5th. Yeah, Monday and Tuesday this week.
All right, where can people watch that at in case they do want to see it?
Well, they have the NJPW World, which is their streaming service. It's like their version of the WWE network.
Right.
And also, you can watch it on Fight TV as a pay-per-view. They're usually like $20, $30. They're not as expensive as going through like your cable company, So there's a lot of online platforms like that are doing the online pay-per-view as well.
Okay. I'm gonna try to check it out and try to There's not a whole lot of New Japan I watch, just matches here and there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll definitely be checking it out after work tomorrow.
Right?
So.
When does it come on tomorrow? You know about the time?
Well, here, I think for us, it's like 3 or 4 a.m., but over there, that's like 7 p.m.,
Oh my God.
So for us, it's ass crack of dawn, but but look at the people on the West Coast; they got to watch it at 1 a.m.
Might be better than 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah, but that's for the live stream. Like I said, I'm going to be watching it after work, so I can skip some of the fluff and gaga.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, from what we saw of wrestling this week, I'm sure there's been a few spots and botches throughout the week.
Yeah.
But in your opinion, what do you think was the botch of the week?
Well, I mean, the one that you showed me, that one was up there, definitely. I actually had a hard time picking mine because I actually originally was going to say them naming Shotzi Blackheart as breakout star of the year.
Right.
I'm like, how you put her over Kyle O'Reilly, Damian Priest, or Karrion Kross? I don't know. Is it just because she rides a fucking Tonka tank to the ring that automatically makes her the breakout star?
Like, she's good. She's not bad, but she's nowhere near breakout star of the year.
No. And like I said, it was kind of a tie. But my other thing was that we almost saw the death PCO on Ring of Honor this week.
What was that?
I said we almost saw the death of PCO on Ring of Honor this week.
After that moonsault?
Yeah, that was almost bad. That was almost very bad.
Yeah, that was during the 10-man Christmas tag or whatever, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if you saw it, it's when he did that moonsault to the outside. But when he did it, and he was, they had the camera focused right on him, so you couldn't miss it. It looked like at first he just jumped back like he was doing a trust fall.
Yeah.
And then he just slowly started to turn, and I was like, oh shit, he's going to die. And at the very last second, he caught the full rotation. But God, that was scary.
Yeah, I could imagine. Like that, I was doing a lot of other stuff too during that match, working on the show and everything. So I might have missed it, but the match overall wasn't bad, and that dojo match before that wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, honestly, for a 10-man tag match, it was actually not bad at all. Usually those kind of matches just become a clusterfuck, and you're trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, that's about how they normally go.
Yeah, but that one actually came together fairly well, better than most
good.
Of them. Yeah. And you're right, that dojo tag team match that started the show was actually very good, and it was nice to see just a regular wrestling match.
Yeah, I know. Different for
it did go a little long, but it was still refreshing to see.
Right. For me, though, I'm going to say my botch of the week came from AEW. And that was that pile driver. When he hit that pile driver on MJF. Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool little spot. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. The way he did it was neat to me because that's not something I really see often.
Yeah, how he kind of did that reverse monkey flip almost.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But when he hit it, MJF didn't hit the mat. And it looked like he hit John Silver's knees.
Yeah, his whole back just landed right on Silver's knees and shins.
I was like, I know that didn't have to feel good.
No, and then he got tangled up in the ropes right after, you know. So that didn't go according to plan. I mean, he was trying to do the Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah, I'll definitely say this though about Silver. He's definitely, without a doubt, one of the more the breakout star from the Dark Order.
I mean, in my opinion, he's the best worker out of the whole group.
Yeah, he's definitely entertaining.
Yeah, he's like a little ball of fire.
And he has a strong social media presence too.
Oh, he
That's
does.
something I've been noticing lately.
Was he on Twitter a lot and stuff like that?
Yeah, and like I guess they're trying to work on having Hangman join the Dark Order.
Yeah, that's been going on for a little while, hadn't it?
Yeah, it seems like it's coming more and more to fruition now.
Yeah, because now they all came out together.
Uh huh.
Because before they was all separate, but yeah, I noticed this week all three of them came out together.
Uh huh. Now, I didn't really see any big spots for me this week,
Yeah.
but I know you said there was one spot in particular for you that really got you or got your attention.
Um, it's not necessarily a spot,
More like a segment.
it was the segment, and it was when it started off with Finn Balor coming out to talk about the upcoming the New Year's Evil match with Kyle O'Reilly, the rematch.
Yeah.
And then O'Reilly came out, and O'Reilly actually cut a pretty nice little promo with Balor, and then Karrion Kross and what's that woman's name? Is it Scarlett?
Yeah.
So they came out, and because Cross technically never lost the belt, they came out and it was like, hey, technically I'm the champion, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I mentioned that a few weeks ago too.
Yeah, because he hurt himself. He never lost it.
No, he didn't.
But while he was standing up there, they panned the camera out, and Damian Priest was standing behind him. And when Cross turned around, Damian Priest said, how did he word it? He said, I'll show you how to walk like a man. And then he just knocked the shit out of Cross, and they just started brawling everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you said they went all over the arena.
Yeah, dude, they went through the plexiglass wall. They went off of the stage through some tables. Like, they were just going everywhere.
Jeez. That's definitely going to be a hell of a match to watch.
And I like both guys, and they're big athletic guys. Damian Priest, to me, Damian Priest should have won Breakout Star, but that's just me. Yeah, I agree with that.
I'll tell you one match though, for me, and I actually think it's the same match you picked. That was the best match of this week, and that was Pete Dunne and Roddy Strong from NXT. That was, without a doubt, the best match
honestly,
this week.
And it kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was like one of those matches that kind of got thrown together. I mean, Pete Dunne and Strong, they have history together.
Yeah, but the match was just in the middle of, the TV show. There wasn't any build up to it or anything like that. It was just the TV match in the middle of the show.
I think that was one of the better performances I've seen from Roddy Strong.
And I've been a fan of Roddy Strong before Undisputed Era, and he's actually the reason I started watching Undisputed Era. So he's the one that got me into Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back when he was in Ring of Honor, him and Kyle O'Reilly, or not Kyle O'Reilly, but I think he was TV champion in Ring of Honor, and he had a lot of matches with all kind of different people. That's where I noticed him. But, and I've always been a fan of Pete Dunne because I just like that British style.
Yeah, definitely. Pete Dunne, he's had a number of classic matches.
In the last 2 or 3 years, Pete Dunne's had some pretty damn good matches.
I don't know what's next for Pete Dunne, really. Like, what's he doing other than...
Well, he's with McAfee and those guys, right?
Yeah, but they don't really have him actively in any other storyline.
Right. He's just like kind of like, I guess, the enforcer kind of at the moment.
Yeah. Roderick Strong, they just announced this week on NXT that him and Adam Cole are going to be competing in that Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic.
Right. Yeah, they're one of the teams in the tournament.
I'm interested to see how that's going to be.
I think that'd be good. They've tagged together a lot before already,
Yeah.
So I think they have a good chance of being in the top,
Maybe we'll pick one of their matches to be our classic match of the week soon.
Right. I mean, they're capable of it.
Yeah, without a doubt. Speaking of our classic matches of the week, Mine is actually from back 18 years ago. My match came from 18 years ago at the 2003 Royal Rumble. And that was the WWE title match that was between Kurt Angle, who was the champion at the time, versus the late Chris Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they said that was the match that really put Benoit. It really showcased his skills.
Yeah, that was his first really big match. His first on a big stage. And with a guy like Kurt Angle, you couldn't ask for much better.
No, the technical wrestling that was in that match was just amazing. And that was one of the matches that truly went back and forth constantly. There was not one moment that I saw where it was just one guy in control. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was just constant back and forth.
Yeah.
It's me watching that match, I didn't know who was going to win.
Well, see, I loved the ending of it where Benoit had Angle in the crossface and then where Angle rolled out of it into the ankle lock and got the win.
Yeah, I did not
that was beautiful.
I did not see Benoit tapping out in that match, though.
No. But you know what? After that match, and I rewatched it this morning, after that match, Benoit got the standing ovation.
Yeah. That was his breakout moment.
Yeah, they gave him an extended standing ovation after that match. And that wasn't even the last match of the night.
No, it wasn't. But it was still, that was probably one of my favorite matches of all time to watch.
Oh, it's a good one. It's definitely a good one. If you just want to see just pure ability, technical ability, and just two guys that, just can have just a wrestling match, that's the way to go.
So what was your match of the week?
Yeah, my pick goes in the opposite direction. My pick throws technical ability out the window and just goes to how tough are you? Well, you saw it. It's pretty ridiculous, but no, my pick was a match from the G1 Climax 23 tournament in 2013. And it happened in the middle of the tournament. It was Tomohiro Ishii, the Stone Pitbull, against Katsuyori Shibata. And there's a reason the match is only... I'll be up in a minute. Okay. Sorry about that. But where the fuck was I at?
There's a reason that match was only...
Oh yeah, there's a reason the match was only 12 minutes, because when you watch it, you'll understand they probably couldn't have made it any further than
from the friggin' start. That match is just a banger.
Yeah, as soon as the referee said go, Shibata flies out the corner, and Ishii, they just, and then man, some of those strikes in that match too was good God,
stiff. Dude, they were some stiff shots.
That haluva kick in the beginning, and then Ishii right back with that lariat, and then just the kicks and the chops, and everything about it. They're just trying to take each other out.
And that's all that was. I think it was Ishii. I mentioned something about his clotheslines later on in the match, and there were some stiff clotheslines.
Yeah. And what I love about Ishii, if you notice the whole match, it's in Japanese, but the whole match, he's just talking shit to the guy.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you noticed that, but he just kept looking at the guy, and he was just he would offer himself up and just hey, hit me,
I didn't catch that.
And he was yelling at him, or when Shibata got him in the corner, and he was just forearming him to death, and Ishii's just nope, it ain't happening.
Yeah. I would definitely that was probably one of my favorite matches I've seen out of New Japan, just for that style and just how they kept going and going and going,
And then that brain buster at the end, that was a little stiff too.
Yeah, that was. I texted you about that after I saw it. I'm like,
Yeah, no, because you were texting me while you were watching it, and you were just like, "Holy shit, these clotheslines!" And then at the end, you were like, "Okay, that brain buster was a little too real."
Right?
He made sure that one counted.
Yeah, that was definitely a good match. And honestly, like for a New Japan match, if anybody asks me about New Japan, that's definitely one of those matches I would recommend personally.
Yeah, yeah. If you just want to see a balls to the wall, just barn burner, you just two guys just fighting to the finish. That's the way to go.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
And you ain't gonna spend a lot of time because they didn't. It was only 12 minutes.
Not at all. Yeah,
They went right to work.
you said there was a few of them strikes that seemed a little too real.
Yeah, it was a couple of them. There's a couple of them when you see them and you can hear them. There's a couple of them. It's like, whew, yeah.
You know something that seems to be a little too real to me though?
What's that?
Next week.
Yeah.
Next week we got our first big guest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm stoked. I'm excited, and
It's gonna be great.
I'm definitely looking forward to sitting down and talking with TJP. You know,
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
we've been talking about this for what, about a month now?
Yeah, since the beginning of December, and I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. This is without hands down the biggest episode we've got so far. So,
oh, for sure. Yeah. So next week, we'll be airing this episode on Sunday morning. That's when it will be aired. No later than 7:00 that morning.
Yep. So next week's episode is just going to be our talk with TJP.
That's going to be our big breakout moment.
So, and it's not going to be just about wrestling. We're going to talk about, anything and everything.
Also, don't forget that event that will be live streamed on Big Bang Wrestling's Facebook page, that fundraiser event being held by Bruiser Wrestling Federation for Southside Virginia SPCA.
And that is also next weekend, is it correct?
Saturday. That'll be a best of 3 series between 2 tag partners. Between Karen Gaunt and Emmerich Gaunt of the Guard. Before the match even starts, we will also have a ring psychology panel being held by none other than Bruiser Graham himself. Yeah,
and now he's the guy that runs the
He's
show,
wrestled
right?
big names in WWE.
And he's the guy that runs the show, right?
He runs the show, and he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I've taken lessons from this guy, I'm currently being trained by him myself, and this guy knows his stuff.
Yeah.
The guy knows his stuff. Yeah,
and then some of the stuff you told me about him, some of the things that you've said, he sounds like a pretty cool guy. Sounds like he knows what he's doing.
That's one of them guys. I always enjoy talking to him, getting stories and picking his brain for advice and things like that.
And now you're going to be reffing for him, aren't you?
That one is actually still up for debate at the moment.
Okay.
That one's still up for debate. But I do know, like I said, we will be live streaming the matches as well as the ring psychology panel on Big Bang Wrestling's Facebook page. And I will also be posting a link again, where if people are feeling generous and would like to donate to help the animals at Southside SPCA, they will be able to. Because this event is for charity. It's a fundraiser, again, for SPCA.
Yeah, it's definitely for a good cause. Definitely. And I just want to put this out here right now. Unfortunately, I will not be involved in this upcoming show just because of some outside circumstances, but I can promise you for the next one, I will be there.
Hopefully for the next one, I'll be competing.
Right. Yeah, maybe I'll be your run-in. I'll just throw you a gimmick or something.
But
I'll be the guy in the crowd, be like, hit him in the dick,
But that's the big news coming up for next week, And I said we got Saturday, let me go back. Yeah, Saturday the 9th, we have this event going on for Bruiser Wrestler Federation and
Mm-hmm.
Southside SPCA. The
Yep.
next day, Sunday morning, our interview
Mm-hmm.
with TJP will be available on
Yes.
all podcast streaming services and YouTube. So
Yep.
y'all be sure to check this out.
Yep. And everything will be posted and linked on our page. So if you're having trouble finding anything, you can go to our page and we'll have it all there for you as well.
So that will wrap up this week's episode. I'm gonna start getting ready for work. But
And I'm gonna go eat dinner.
anyways, y'all. I'm Marcus.
I'm
Again,
Nick.
and we are out.
All right.